So when I was little, I was always curious in art, and my favorite subject was actually math. So when I was talking to my parents about potentially choosing a major for college, we just sat down at the table, just wrote down what I was interested in, and it kind of led me to this artistic major that has both the combination of art and math combined, which is architecture. I mean, in my school, we focus on a lot of like on technology, on the physics of things. Like right now, my favorite subject is statics, where we kind of go through the different forces of things and just to make sure that the building does not fall down. And it really just excites me how those things work. So I do love the artistic side of things as well, but I think it's very important for any architect to know the engineering of buildings as well. For sure. I think to be a very successful designer, you need to know both things, just so the engineers don't take away like the biggest part of the design and you know, like, yeah, this works. Like this can be made out of concrete. Like, so yeah. So right now I was actually talking about this with my friend the other day, how right now I'm trying to find a lot of great people in my school. Whoops. And just trying to see like what I'm into and stuff like that. And maybe in like 15 years, I can start my own practice. But for now, I'm very much into the design of things, the artistic kind of approach to things. I'm also very much into the environmental sustainability within architecture. So designing with wood is very great. Canada is focusing on sustainable forests where they make a bunch of buildings with trees, and those trees are continuously sustainable. Yeah, so they separate a forest into a bunch of different sectors, and they know exactly when to cut down which part. So there's a continuous growth, and um, like there's never like an empty field, like completely of like no trees. It's like it continuously like grows, and you can always take the trees down. There was actually the largest building made out of lumber is 18 floors. So people are going in that direction of making like very tall lumber buildings now. Yeah, for sure. I think everyone should be excited about that. I think engineering is That's a great question. Engineering kind of goes more into the math and more sitting down and less interactive design and practice. And I want to be able to go into the site and just kind of like feel the space. And I'm really passionate about interior design as well. So maybe kind of feeling the spaces and how the people interact within the space. But kind of combining, just making sure that the space is well maintained within the environmental resources. Oh yes, NYIT is great within like professional resources. We have a really great variety of professors that have their own practices. And it's just like whatever you want to focus on, you just like ask your professor, hey, like which one of the professors focuses on this? And you can always like come up to them and ask like, oh, like I want to do this design with like concrete slabs. And they would always help you. The staff is just very, very, very helpful when it comes to that. It's also a technical school, so it's less artistic, like it's less artistic than Pratt, Parsons, Cooper Union. And it focuses more, I guess, like yeah, like on the civil engineering of things, and that really works for me. As you know, if you went to an architecture school, um, a lot of professors are very different. Some professors focus on the visual part of things. Other professors will focus on specific programs like Rhino, where we make 3D models, and AutoCAD, where we make drawings. And within each year, you're going to focus on a different program. And depending from the professors, you're going to get like more maybe of like a design execution, or like maybe of a 3D execution or an app execution. And you're gonna kind of, within the years, you're gonna have this great background depending on which professor focuses on what. So before the coronavirus, I would wake up, my design class, my main architecture class, design would start early in the morning. So we would come to class, we would get our plots, our big pieces of paper that we print for free. Very grateful for that in our school. We pin it up, we present it in front of our professor in a class of 20 people, 20 students. And then we take notes, and for the other half of the class, after the presentations, we work on our design further. And then if we have time, we show the professors again, class ends, and then we work on our projects more, maybe make 3D models by 3D printing, laser cutting, or hand cutting. Yes, I've worked with Ivan Bryce and the School of Construction Authority. We focused on restoration of buildings. It was really great. I got into this program with the School of Construction Authority, and they pair you up with firms. And I wanted to work with a smaller firm and focus on restoration. And I got paired up with Ivan Bryce. And there, it was very, very interactive. We always went on sites like the American Society. We also worked with a bunch of other residential buildings in the city and Queens. So we were always like taking down notes, seeing what we can fix, talking to different construction offices. And I got to know a lot about AutoCAD. And before that, I did not touch AutoCAD. And from that experience, I learned a lot. So School Construction Authority is a department firm. It goes with it's a government firm. And it focuses on like the construction of schools. So the current project that we're working on is we're working with the southeast corner of Central Park, and my school is located next to Columbus Circle, so practically a block away from Central Park. So it's very nice that we can go straight to the site and see what we're working with and see where the trees are and where we can see the building. We can physically experience the space that we're building. And that's what I like about it, that my school is focusing on like these sites that are in the city that like we can go to. But what I don't like, I wish it was a little bit more artistic and more environmental. We don't focus, at least for now. I mean, I'm in the middle kind of my architectural journey that like concerns like my education. But I wish like from freshman year we started talking about sustainability and what we can do to better the environment. I think people would just consider that more of a factor. I don't know if other schools do that. I hope they do. I hope all schools start involving that with their design. But I think everyone should know that any building, any design is going to leave a mark on the space, on the earth. And I just wish people were more responsible of that. I applied to other schools, but NYIT is a great school if you're concerned about scholarships. So I have scholarships, so that's very great. They had the chance to get that. I also applied, but I was applying within like the New York City area mostly. I applied to Pratt, got into Pratt. The other school that I got into that I'm very proud of was SCI-ARC in California. Statistically speaking, there isn't a large correlation within your education and your possibility, like your career in the future. I think the New Yorker, New York Times. It was just like a bunch of graphs within like different careers. It was architecture, I remember. It was like civil engineering. It was like business, and the business there was a large correlation within like what school you go to versus what like job you're gonna get later on. Like your like how much you're gonna be getting paid. There is still a correlation. There's a correlation everywhere, but it's not as dramatic as in other fields. Yeah, for
100%.
sure. I think it's really great to invest into yourself and invest into your education. But if you still believe that you can get the same connections by going to school for a little cheaper, or maybe just by staying in New York City, I'm grateful that I live in New York City and that I can always go to different lectures and get my connections through like that way. So I think NYIT for people outside of New York would be, I'm not sure, don't quote me on this, but 30, 40 grand, um, I would guess. But for me, if I didn't get a scholarship, it would be like 20 because I'm a person living in New York. But I
And
think SCI-ARC was 50,000. With the scholarship, it's full ride, zero. Yes, I applied to Cooper Union. Cooper Union was my first choice. I was actually working with them for a year. Not working. I was in a portfolio prep program my senior year of high school, and I was working with them, and everything was great. And I did the a home test, but they didn't take me, and I was devastated. But I wish I got in. NYT is a great school, but I mean, Cooper Union is much more known. And NYT is really great because they're working on their publicity now, which is great. It was kind of devastated to me because I imagined myself in that school because I was working with them. I knew the campus, and then I didn't get it, and I was like, oh, it was kind of like the expectation that disappointed me. I mean, Cooper has a lot of professors that are more known than in NYIT, I think. I mean, if people are more known, there's an assumption that they can connect you with more people, so they could have a larger job circle. I think I do. I've reached out to NYT, to my professors on multiple occasions, and I asked them like, "Oh, hey, like, do you know any summer internships that are going on right now?" And they're always super helpful. Yeah, I think it is for sure. I think it's very great. I think architects have this personality trait of just being a team member, so they're always very helpful. I think the upcoming students should question whether they like the technical aspect of architecture versus the artistic aspect. And if they like more the artistic side, they should apply to Pratt or Parsons. And if they like more of the technical side, they should consider NYIT. Watch out for at architecture schools. I don't know. I didn't have any bad experiences in my architecture school, so I don't know what to say. I mean, I bet everyone, when you ask them this question, they're gonna say time management. It is very important. It is the truth. But I think just having fun with a major, there's so many different opportunities for you to just have fun with it. This is like one of the only majors where you can actually take something from your mind, from your head, from your imagination, and put it out to the world. And you should totally take advantage of that. I think, or at least what I'm doing is that I'm trying to see how far I can go within my own designs and working on my own portfolio, even outside of school. Just like you might not have a lot of time on your hands when you're getting your education, like during the semester. But my friend and I are meeting up during the summer and we're doing our own fun project. So we found this really cool building in New Jersey. and we're like gonna like redesign it and like restore the outside and build it on Rhino and just make our own little project about it. We just found a random house and we just wanted to like do something for the summer to be productive. So we just thought of doing it together. My friend is doing that. But yeah,
Very
that's one of
cool.
the that's my friend is doing that. He's taking care of that. But that's on the list of plans.